Let's go back to the commissioner of baseball, and he's made some questionable moves over the last, I don't know, whenever he's had a chance to make a questionable move, he's done that. But what should he have done in the Houston case? And he, at least publicly, has not done anything about the Red Sox. What should he have done? Well, what could he have done?
Well, you could have. I think the one thing that he could have done, and that I wouldn't have minded. There are two camps: people that say you can't do that, on and on and on, or that, yeah, you can do that. And they could have vacated the title and said, you know what, you don't get that trophy, and you can have your banner, you can have the memories, because we all know that you did win that World Series, but you're not getting the trophy, and it's not going in the history books. And so you could have vacated the title, and I think that would have gone, a long way towards appeasing people. But I'm not sure what else you could have done except to make the penalties even harsher. Let's think about this. And I heard this, be put to, you go to 30 owners, or it's at this point 29 other owners, and you say, okay, you lose your first and second round picks, next year. So you lose your top 4 draft picks are out for the next 2 years. You have to fire your manager and fire your GM, and you get a fine of $5 million. However, on the flip side, you're a World Series champion. How many would have lined up to do that? All of them? Half of them?
Yeah.
I mean, well, and especially nowadays, when I don't think that the manager is valued as it once was. That the managers anymore, they don't want the strong personality down in the dugout managing the game. Terry Francona is one of those guys that, he's a throwback, and you're seeing Dusty Baker's getting a chance. You don't see those guys in the game anymore. They're going younger, and They want guys that basically act as a liaison between the decision makers upstairs in the front office that are running the game on the analytics side, and then you're like the conduit to the players. You sell the players, or you get the players to buy what we're selling. That's kind of how the role of manager is anymore. And then you look at general managers, and you've got like 2 or 3 assistant general managers, it seems like, on every team. So I think those roles, in a sense, have been devalued here in the game today.
All right, let me go back. Okay. Let me just go back to what you said about vacating the title. Let's take Brian Anderson as an example. Let's say 1997, the Indians win that World Series, but let's say you did what Houston did to get there. 15, 20 years later, you're going back to Progressive Field to be honored by the fans for the 20th anniversary or whatever, and you didn't do it right, and they cheated. I would think if by doing that, taking that away, that's a pretty tough thing to live with, that you're being honored for something that you didn't get the right way.
I would think that would be extremely difficult. And that's why I think that this scandal, what's been worse? What the Astros actually did, and obviously I think that is the answer, or how they've handled it. Because how they handled it, it was deplorable what they did. And it is awful how they have handled this situation, from coming out with the apology, if you even want to call it that. I don't even know if I would use the word apology on what they put out there. And then the arrogance of these guys, making sure they let everybody know how proud they are of that championship, and just I think the arrogance of the organization has really turned off a lot of people. Not to mention, I don't think that many people think that they've been very sincere in their, like I said, if you want to use the word apology, the sincerity is not there. I don't think people feel that it is for the most part. So it's just an overriding terrible situation that was made worse by how it was handled. And so we'll see what comes of it. We all know what was going to come of it with the fans if the season would have been on time. It'll be interesting to see, if we do have a season here in 2020, what the fallout will end up being.
Up until 2 months.